everyone, I have a fun little tutorial for you guys today, and we're going to be using the Antique Hickory Naturally Aged Kits by Tattered Angels. These are awesome. They come in a pack, and I'll show you what it looks like. It comes in a little fun clamshell pack like this, and you get all 4 paints in order to complete this really fun technique. And this is the finished product, so it's kind of a faux wood grain. Super fun, really easy to do, and I'm going to walk you through step by step. Now in your kit you are going to get instructions that look like this, and they're basically 5-step instructions. Some of them might have a little bit more, some a little bit less. So I'm going to show you how to get this really cool hickory effect on some Tattered Angels chipboard. So this is white chipboard that Tattered Angels offers, and it is amazing. It's nice and thick, it's sturdy, and it's perfect for book covers. So that's what we're going to make today, is the other half of my book covers. So you want to start off with saffron, and this is saffron glaze, and you can shake it up a little bit. You don't really need to, because I always end up pulling from the bottom of the bottle anyway. So you dip your paintbrush in there. I'm using a number 6 round. You can use as thick or as thin of a brush as you like, but I find that this brush works excellent for this technique. So what you do is you start from top to bottom, and you're just going to kind of make some little streaks. And you're not covering up the whole background. You're just kind of going to get some uneven strokes from the top to the bottom. I like to leave some of the white chipboard background showing. You don't need to cover the whole thing, like I said earlier. And then you can do some thinner ones, just like this. A little bit of an echo today because we're working out of the studio and the kids are here messing around. Alright, so you could do a little more or a little less. It just really depends on your taste. I try to get rid of any of these little triangles that show up at the bottom from the brush strokes. So I kind of go in and fool around that way. And you'll notice that the more you layer, even though you're using the same color, the more funky of a streak you'll get. So it'll get darker in some areas, and it almost looks like you're using more than one paint. So I do a few little squigglies. After you're done doing that, you're going to go in with the coconut shell, and I don't even rinse my brush because this color is so light, but if you're worried about contaminating your colors, you can go ahead and rinse too. So get a little bit of the coconut shell on your brush, and this time we're going to do less streaks, but we're going to try to make some faux knots into the paper. So I start by doing some thin streaks first, and I kind of make them a little bit wavy. This is quite a bit darker, and this is coconut shell glaze, by the way. So what's great about these paint systems is they also come in the large bottles, so if you really, really love the technique, then you can get larger bottles. I'm just doing thinner streaks. You don't have to go all the way up and down, you can just go halfway too. And then wherever I find like a wave like this, that's kind of where I start to do my faux knot. So I start by doing a little line in the middle, and then I kind of draw little circles around that, and then I come to the top and I draw around my knots too, and then you can even do this sort of thing, depending on how big you want your knot. And then I kind of go back into the middle and darken it up a little bit more. And you can make more than that. You can make a half knot kind of coming off of here. Make little ones. Just don't forget to draw those funky little lines around your knots so it actually looks like a knot later. You do as many or as few as you like. I usually do 3 or 4. Sometimes I get a little crazier if I'm really liking the knots. Just darkening mine up a little bit more. Now I'm going to go over some of the same little streaks, and you can go really dark, really light, kind of try to make different variations in the actual wood. Alright, so now you are going to take clam bake, shake it up, always want to shake that up, and you're going to give it 3 sort of even squirts on the entire project. So you're not going to try to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to do a squirt there, squirt up there, I'm going to get a little bit more on there, and we'll do 1 here. So you do 3 squirts or 3 areas. I did a little bit more than the instructions call for, and then after that you're going to let this dry, and you could dry it with your heat tool. Heat tool makes it so much easier. Oh, I need power. So this just helps kind of speed up the process. And it doesn't have to be completely dry. It could still be a little bit damp for this step. All right, so once you've done that, you're going to go in with the woven burlap, and you're going to saturate the whole thing. So you're going to give it a nice even coat. So I like to move my bottle as I'm spraying so I can cover more ground with each spray. All right, so now that I've done that, you're going to go back in 1 more time with the clam bake, and you're going to cover the whole thing. And this is just going to mix those 2 colors. And the great thing about this chipboard is it really soaks up that color really well. So now I'm going to dry this. And your chipboard's likely going to warp a little bit, but don't worry. Once it's completely dry, it's going to flatten right back out. So it doesn't take very long to dry. You can see it's pretty much almost there now. All right, so there is your really cool, and it's kind of stuck to my paper here. This is just regular painter's paper that I'm using to protect my workspace. So you've got something like that, and I take it a little step further. You don't have to do this. This is as far as the instructions take you, but I kind of like to make mine a little bit shinier. You'll notice that on my original, the board is pretty shiny, kind of like a wood varnish. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and it's still just using the paint kit. I just take the saffron and I do the same thing that I did in the first step, and I just go right back over, and this kind of just acts as a varnish. And I love using the Tattered Angels glazes to sort of decoupage and varnish things like this. So this is going to give it that really nice, smooth, shiny surface that you want. And it ends up looking like varnished wood. Or you can leave it fairly matte and just follow the instructions to get that matte look. But I like to do this. And you can always go back and repeat the steps in this kit, which is really cool. So if you decide that you want your wood grain to be a little bit darker, no problem. I'm just going to hit this with my heat tool really quick. Doesn't take long for the glaze to dry, and I'm going to take that coconut shell glaze, and I'm just going to make my little knots a little bit darker. See? So you can always come back in and repeat the steps if you want them to be a little bit darker. So same thing, I'm basically just tracing over everything I've already done. You don't want to do new darker areas if you're going to do this, because then you might end up with something that just looks a little blobby mess. So see how you can kind of go in and darken some of your streaks up a little bit. All right, so something cool for you guys to try. Hope you like it. And don't forget, this is the Natural Age Kit by Tattered Angels. This one is Antique Hickory. This is what it looks like. So look for that at Archivers or your local retail store. If your local store isn't carrying it, make sure to ask them for these because there's so many different ones and they are awesome. And I'm going to show you a few more. I'm going to show you 3 other ones, and this is going to be a video series, so you'll get to see how to use all of these kits. This one is Rich Chestnut, and that's another wood technique. This one is Whitewashed Pine, which is my favorite. And then you've got Red Brick, and I think there's actually 20 plus more kits that teach you all kinds of different things. Like, I think there's Concrete, Bamboo, which is really, really cool. Can't wait to show you guys that one. There's actually more wood ones, which is super fun. There's Metals, Rusty Metal, which is a popular one. So stay tuned and check back often for the next videos in this series. Thank you guys.